Talmud tells us a story with someone that his name was Rabbi Ishmael. Rabbi Ishmael was Kohen Gadol, a high priest in the Holy Temple in the Bet HaMikdash. It was Erev Yom Kippur, and obviously the main job on Yom Kippurim, on the holiest day of the year, is done by the Kohen Gadol, by the high priest. Even going into the Holy of Holy, Kodesh HaKodashim, the only one that goes in is the Kohen Gadol. The preparation is big 7 days before, especially when it comes the day before Yom Kippur. Suddenly, he gets a message from two of the Kohanim, two of the priests, and they tell him the ruler, the leader of the city, non-Jewish, came to get a blessing from you. He wants to meet you. In the beginning, the Kohen Gadol was refusing. He says, I'm so busy, I can't even go out to anybody. But obviously, they explained them that it's not going to be good if he's not coming out, because things can come out. And he understood and he came out. Came outside of the Holy Temple of the Bet HaMikdash, and he meets him. And the ruler was so excited to meet the Kohen Gadol, Rabbi Ishmael. Obviously, he greeted him, and then he gave him a blessing. The last moment of the meeting, something happened and made the Kohen Gadol, the high priest, impure. And you know what it means. He's about to do the work on the holiest day in the Bet HaMikdash, the only one. He's about to go into the holiest place that you only go once a year, only he can go in. But he can do it while he's in such a position that he's impure. What do? This Rabbi Ishmael, there were 7 brothers. The second one afterward, his name was Yosef. This Yosef was a righteous person, just like Rabbi Ishmael. And he was the one that taking him over for that Yom Kippur. And like this, the mother, the famous mother Kimchit, married to see in one day 2 of your children to be the Kohanim Gdolim, the high priest in the Bet HaMikdash. And the Talmud says, all your children could have been the Kohanim Gdolim, the high priest. Our sages were so impressed with them. They were such special kids, such holy kids, that they went to their mother Kimchit and they said, dear lady, how did God give you the merit to have such 7 good children, one by one? And she replied and says, you know why? Because I'm very modest, the way I'm dressed. Inside the house and outside the house. Even inside the house, not only I'm dressed properly, especially when it comes to cover my hair. I make sure that it's completely covered anytime in the house. And this, because of it, I was married to have such children. This week we're going to read Parshat Achrei Mot. By the way, when we talk Achrei Mot, I want to talk about the one word and the terrible tragedy that happened last week in California. That someone walked in with a rifle and planning to kill so many people. But unfortunately, even one Jewish lady, Lori Kay, was killed, murdered, just because she was a Jew last week. And this week we read Parshat Achrei Mot, the Parshat that talks after death. We want to wish that it should be no more tragedy in the Jewish nation. and all our enemies should suffer a complete loss in everything. But I want to go back to the topic that we started to speak. This week we're talking about the Kohen Gadol, the specialty from the Kohen Gadol, the priest, the high priest, the Kohen Gadol, that he was the one that because the way he did the job in the holiest day of the year, he forgave to the entire Jewish nation and all the sin that he did a whole year. How does he have such a big thing, such a merit, that God gave him to be the one that the way he's acting, the way he does things, in the holiest day he can forgive for everybody? Who is the Kohen Gadol? Do we ever understand? So number one, we have to know the Kohen Gadol was dressed differently, had more different clothing than all the priests, all the Kohanim. Not only he had special clothing, he had something on his chest. It's called the Urim Vetumim. It was 12 tablets from diamond stones. And this was something so unique that anybody that had a certain question to God came to the high priest, to the Kohen Gadol, and from this the Kohen Gadol a clear message from God. What will be the answer? It's an unbelievable thing. This was the Kohen Gadol. He had direct tie to God. How does a person become a Kohen Gadol? Number one, to become a Kohen Gadol, you need a decision from the High Court in Jerusalem. It's called the Sanhedrin. 71 judges were sitting and deciding who will be the Kohen Gadol. The Kohen Gadol was someone, number one, he has to be in nature a beautiful person. He has to be a rich person. He has to be a smart person. He has to be a righteous person. There's so many details that has to be. There's so many details that he's allowed to do and so many details he's not allowed to do. For example, who is allowed to marry, who is not allowed to marry. Does he allowed to eat in public with everyone? He's not allowed to. There's so many details. Why? Because the Kohen Gadol was the righteous person from the entire Jewish nation, and therefore he was the one to be able to forgive for the Jewish nation when it came to Yom Kippurim, because he was more than anybody else. And now let's go back to the story that we had before with Kimchit. Kimchit, what is the lesson that we have? So having such children is unbelievable thing. And the lesson that we have, that all of us can have beautiful children, the best children. But who is the one that determines those children we're going to have? It's the parents themselves, the father and the mother. Fred, especially the mother, that she's the host of the house. She runs everything. She is with the kids more than anybody else. Someone like Kimchit. If the lady knows how to be modest, and especially modest the way she's dressed and the way she looks, she can marry to have such children like Ishmael, like Yosef, 7 kids that would be the righteous people within the Jewish nation. In other words, God gives us children, we have the merit to bring up the children. We can make that our children should be the most chosen children in the entire Jewish nation. It's just a matter how we decide to be. Could we decide to be the way God wants us to be all the way or not? And this is the lesson that we learn out. If we could, we have obligation to do it. Shabbat Shalom. And I want to finish by saying that let's today, the message from last week massacre, let's fill up our synagogues this Shabbat. Show them that we're not afraid, we're adding a light. Tomorrow, every synagogue should look like it looked to Yom Kippur a few months ago. Everybody should come to Shul. Shabbat Shalom.